Following this weekend's great Rugby World Cup semi-final action, I'm going to be discussing my team of the week based upon the 4 games across the 2 semi-finals from this weekend. The first of the semi-finals was, let's face it, a complete mismatch between New Zealand and Argentina, with the All Blacks putting on a rugby clinic and a real dominant display in both attack and defence, which will give them a great amount of confidence going into the final against the Springboks next week. The second of the semi-finals couldn't be any more different between South Africa and England, which was decided by the finest of margins via a scrum penalty and the consequential 3 points via the boot of Andre Pollard to edge the match in South Africa's favour. Devastation for English fans, and it's one in which will take me a little while to get over. I'll start off in the front row, as always. Now, the 2 props in which I've selected didn't even start the game, but were instrumental in the South African comeback, with Oxenche and Vincent Koch, with Cody Taylor in at hooker. The 2 South African props were so important for Rassie Erasmus' team to really add impact off of the bench and turn the tide. The game was really going away from South Africa at points, especially after the Owen Farrell drop goal. But the route back into the game and the key to the victory for South Africa was the scrum. It's something which the Boks really pride themselves on, and they really reverted back to type and went back to their strengths, in which they really do incredibly well, which is the scrum. Oxenche and Vincent Koch earning multiple scrum penalties, in which provided the field position for the R.G. Snyman try, which put Boks within kicking range of the English. And then ultimately it was the penalty from the halfway, which came from the scrum, in which Vincent Koch put so much pressure through Ellis Genge that resulted in a penalty for the Boks, which was the deciding factor in the game ultimately. At hooker, we've got Cody Taylor. He's been really instrumental in the success of the All Blacks over this World Cup. A really dynamic hooker, runs with such pace and power, and has got some really deft handling touches as well as some good vision and the ability to find space, as all good All Blacks players have. Moving into the second row, I've gone with Maratoji and then R.G. Snyman. These two second rows were really important in both their team's success in the game. Maratoji was really good at the line out and caused a lot of disruption for the Boks, which was one of the main reasons in which they couldn't launch any of their attacks and couldn't really get into the game. Courtney Lawes, as well as George Martin and Maratoji, were all really good in the air and really disrupted a lot of Bok line out ball, and in which was probably the reason R.G. Snyman came on to shore up the line out and added a bit of a different picture for the English to deal with, and he did just that. He did shore up the line out for the South Africans and added a point of difference. He's such a big man. I think someone put in the comments he was 6'9". His ability to sort of get his hands through contact, look for the offload, was really impressive. And then he got the all-important score, barging over from close range to sort of brush aside Joe Marchant and dot the ball down, which got South Africa back into the kicking range of England. So some really important interventions from R.G. Snyman. Moving into the back row, we've got Courtney Lawes and then Tom Curry with Ardie Savea at number 8. Courtney Lawes, in what was his last Rugby World Cup knockout match for England, was very impressive in both the line out and at the breakdown, was really good over the ball and was one of the main figures in which prevented the Boks from stealing English ball, and was also one of the main causes of the lack of pace at the breakdown from the Boks. He constantly had his hands on the ball to slow down the breakdown, so some good work from Courtney Lawes. And then Tom Curry, the English open side. Because the English back row is relatively small, with Courtney Lawes being a sort of hybrid second row back rower, and then Burnell being a relatively undersized number 8, considering, well, he's still an incredible player, got great feet, very fast, so he adds his unique selling points in different ways, but he's still an undersized back rower. You need players like Tom Curry to really step up physically, and he did just that. 6 carries, which got the English side over the gain line, which is quite a lot considering the physicality of the South African defence. So very impressive from Tom Curry there. He got a bust up a little bit. He was in the wars, but he was so important for his side to stay competitive in the game and really try and match the South Africans physically, which me personally, I believe the English did for sure. And number 8 is Ardie Savea, who made a whopping 19 tackles against the Argentinians. Considering how much ball the All Blacks had, that just shows how busy he is defensively, and it never seems to tax his energy tank. I really want to know what he eats for breakfast, because it must be something special. He makes 19 tackles, but he's still up and ready for the fight right at the end, ready to carry, ready to step and pass, and he just gets involved so much and never seems to fade away in games. So very impressive from Ardie Savea, making a huge 19 tackles throughout that match. Moving into the halfbacks, we've got Aaron Smith, and then we've got Owen Farrell with maybe Handré Pollard after his very impressive performance. Aaron Smith scoring a try, even at his ripe old age, he's got such a quick rugby brain. He's so fast, can really spot a gap so well, so fair play to him, playing some really good rugby at the moment. His box kicking is second to none, and his passing is just absolutely world class. He's going to retire after this weekend's game as a real All Blacks legend, that's for sure. At fly half, Owen Farrell or Handré Pollard, that's up to you in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Owen Farrell was instrumental in the English being able to keep the scoreboard ticking. 4 penalties via his boot, as well as a drop goal from what is quite a long way out. I think it was like 45 metres on the angle, which is probably around 50 metres in total. He really felt that that drop goal, if South Africa wouldn't have won the match, and that would have been the point of difference, would have made a real famous moment for Farrell. And despite England not winning, he was very, very impressive. Really showed his great level of leadership and experience, which nearly led England to a historical victory over the Springboks, especially because of the circumstances and the poor preparation the English had going into the World Cup. So great performance from Owen Farrell. The only thing that let him down slightly was the little bickering he had with Cobus Ryanak, which led to an extra 10 metres, which Manny Lebok, I believe, slotted the 3 points. So not a perfect performance from Farrell, still stuff to work on and get right, but overall was very, very impressive and one of the key English performers. Handré Pollard was ultimately the saviour of the South Africans. Along with that, those 2 props. He kicked the penalties, which secured the win for South Africa, as well as putting them in the right areas on the pitch to gain the field position required. He came on in the 30th minute for Manny Lebok, which was a huge call from Rassie Erasmus and his coaching box, but ultimately it paid off considering the South Africans won the match. So let me know who you'd select out of Farrell and Handré Pollard. Into the centres, I've gone with Jordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane. Both this All Black pairing, they're really starting to gel quite nicely. Jordie Barrett, it's not his natural position over the years. He's really moved around the back line, but I feel he's found a definite home in the 12 jersey. He's very physical, has the ability to take the ball to the line, but also has those deft handling touches in which he can bring players like Rieko Ioane into the game. Jordie Barrett scored a nice try on the wing, showing he's still got the finishing ability that he had when he was a winger or a fullback, and his ability to cross the whitewash is really second to none. A very good finisher at that. Very powerful, has got a great sort of balance around his game, and is very, very impressive. So Jordie Barrett, I feel for years to come, considering he's still so young, will be a very, very important All Blacks figure amongst the 15. Rieko Ioane has touched on him slightly in the conversation around Jordie Barrett. They complement each other so well. Rieko Ioane runs such powerful lines and has got a real eye for a gap. His ability to change direction at such a high speed so effortlessly really does set him apart from many, many other 13s. Moving into the back 3, I've gone with Mateo Carreras, Will Jordan, and at fullback I've gone with Freddie Steward. I start off with Mateo Carreras at 11. He was the real shining light amongst a dark day for the Argentinians. I mean, I say dark day, the Argentinians weren't expected to win, so it's not like it was a big upset or anything like that. But Mateo Carreras put in a lot of running metres and was very instrumental in their performance. Will Jordan scored 3 tries, nearly broke the record for a Rugby World Cup, so some brilliant stuff from him. Very, very impressive. Very dynamic runner, very fast, and is so important for that All Black side. Freddie Steward at fullback made 46 metres, some unreal work under the high ball from Freddie Steward in what was a good performance from the English. So that sums up my 15. Please do let me know your thoughts on my 15 in the comment section down below. Who would you swap in? Who would you swap out? There's so many impressive performances, so it can be very difficult to decide. So please do write your comments in the comments below, and we'll have a good conversation. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's all opinion based. There's a couple players in which I could definitely have included. Maybe the likes of Lomax at tight head, but lots of good performances all round. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and yeah, thank you very much for watching.